What about Stan Van Gundy this week? And I only bring up Stan Van Gundy because I just kind of shook my head at this and I really wasn't sure how to take it. Stan Van Gundy on Dwight Howard versus Anthony Davis. Quote, "You cannot make a case that Anthony Davis has had a better career than Dwight Howard. That's absolutely ridiculous." This is Stan Van Gundy when asked why AD made the top 75 and Dwight did not. Now, Dwight will tell you why he did not make the top 75.
Politics.
That's why he didn't make it. It's politics. Whose career? Who do you agree with here? I'm not really sure who I agree with on this one. Dwight Howard's career versus Anthony Davis's career.
Can I be honest?
Go ahead.
Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard from this standpoint.
Hold on. I bet you we're going to say the same thing. Go ahead.
Dwight Howard, 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, and was so dominant on one end of the floor for a long stretch and period of time. And another thing, outside of the back issue, he was available. He played every single game. And, you know, we talk about every year. We don't talk about Anthony Davis' talent because we know that's a fact.
Right.
But
Correct.
we always talk about if he's going to be available. And the best ability is what? Availability. And that's not something that you really ever had to worry about with Dwight Howard. That's just where that's at.
Hey, you know what? You see, we totally agree on this one. And that for people who listen, it's not a disrespect to AD because he's we want him to be the AD we see when he was averaging 40 points in those 2 weeks. That's who we want to see each and every night. We want him to dominate that. And we love AD. We're not shitting on AD, but they're asking us to make a decision on whose career. And for me, just alone for the defensive players of the year.
Yeah.
You know, you got to think about that. That was 3 in a row, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You think about that. You can't, it's like nobody is going to probably ever do that again. You know, the only person who'll ever do that again is Giannis, if he can stay healthy. But and to me, my mindset, I always talk about this, basketball is played on both ends of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, AD is a hell of a defender too, can shot block, but he hasn't gotten that award yet.
Right.
You know, they both got rings on the same team, but I would have to go with Dwight Howard just for the fact that he's won Defensive Player of the Year. Okay. You know, they both, you know, been spending time in college to really learn the game. They both came in talented. It's just Dwight Howard, you know.
And guess what? Anthony Davis is the one when they brought out that the top 75 players of all time for the anniversary. Anthony Davis was the one player I said, well, 1, where's Dwight Howard? And then 2, take Anthony Davis off this list and put Dwight Howard on it. That's the one player I said you should pull off.
You remember we was talking about this? It's like I felt like him, and I love Dame Lillard. Those two guys, they just ain't got enough years yet. You know, because think about it. You know, Tracy McGrady was left off that list. Vince Carter was left off that list. Dwight Howard. You know, these guys have pretty much had the same careers as those guys, and you know they've moved on to careers after basketball. These guys are still current. So why not, honor these guys who put in that time before? And so that's the thing. When I look at that list, that's why I always say there should be an age limit to being on that top 75 because there's too many guys that are just as good or better than some of those guys that are on the list are still currently playing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have a little bias, I think, with players that are currently playing because you're watching them day in, day out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're paying attention to what they're doing every night. And, guys of the past, I mean, we talked about this when we talked about the point guard. There's guys that have played, Pistol Pete. Yeah. You can't quantify how good he was because you don't get to watch him every day. And even when you go back and you look at highlights, it feels like 100 years ago.
Hell, I don't get to watch AD every day neither.
That's true.
And it is not a diss. I'm just being honest.
You get to watch him. He
Stop
sits.
poking. Hey, I'll tell you about. We cannot say
sits.
that. Can't say that about AD, man. That's my dog.
You went down that route too. You agreed with me.
No, we were talking about which player was picked. I wasn't talking about
right. But in the midst of that argument, we talked about availability.
You said something to the effect of Anthony Davis is soft. That's sort of what I got at.
I did not say that. I did not say that.
That's sort of what
I did not say that.
He's not soft.
That's probably what I got. It's kind of what I heard, but I'm just.
He's not soft.
See, now everybody's gonna think that I said that.
No, of course you didn't.
He's not soft.
Anybody who
Rob has
listens
never
to this
said
show
soft.
knows I'm an asshole. Okay, like that's a well-known fact. I stir the pot.